Whoa. Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading. Whoa. The cards are jumping. For Cancer energy, and like usual on this channel, we're going to do 2 rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Cancer energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Cancer energy. We all tap into Cancer energy. And just like every other zodiac sign within us, we kind of struggle between, are we going to harness our Cancer energy in a more high vibrational way or a more shadowy way? A more shadowy way is we can just be more manipulated by our fear or insecurity, be overwhelmed by our emotions. You know, we have our emotions and our thoughts and our worldly nature, the 4 suits of the deck, and our creative, passionate nature. And we have to learn to work with those things. And sometimes, you know, we're not supposed to be a slave to our thoughts or our emotions or our lust or our greed. We're supposed to learn to work with them so that we are kind of in control of our own life, right? And we don't let our emotions overwhelm us and our thoughts overwhelm us and our worldly nature and our lust and our greed and all those things overwhelm us. But we can just be also emotionally manipulated by the world. And in our shadowy, more egoic, worldly nature, some people love the world, and that's the most important thing. They do want to go indulge in those things, make their life about those things. They're sure if they have those things, or, you know, that they'll be happy. And other people in their free will could know that they want more deep, meaningful relationships, and they're inspired to kind of grow and mature themselves and don't want their more immature nature to kind of run their life. And everybody's got to make these decisions in their life. And let's go see what some decisions people are making. In the bottom row, some people are deciding not to take that cup of love. You know, I'll just kind of, I'm okay living life the way I'm living it. I have no interest in living my life any differently. Then I'd have to take that cup of love to maybe love and believe in myself. Which, the reason for the top rose reading is the 2 of Wands, which is Aries energy, which is fire sign energy, and about the self. I would have to be inspired to love and believe in myself. And the 2 of Wands is like, I have a dream. You know, am I willing to take this creative, inspired action and take that cup of love to love and believe in myself to, you know, we have the Queen of Cups, which is about love of self. Love, right? And then out of love for ourselves, investing, the Knight of Pentacles is offering truth and love in high vibe energy to the 7 of Pentacles, this philosophy of life that we have, to love and believe in ourselves. And then when we make the 8 is usually looking to the future and putting in work and effort to bring that dream into reality. Some people do that, but they'd maybe have to overcome these 2 cards here and kind of see what they need to cut out of their life. You know, we all, in our worldly nature, can have some things that manipulate us. And high vibe people work through what it was in their more worldly nature. That can be their codependency, their pride, their ego, the fact that they love people. But if those people are like, nope, I'm not doing that, I'm going to do this. And if you want to be in a friendship or work here, you're going to have to do it like this. And that's when some people's like, you know, I can love you, but if we're not going to invest, if maybe our dream is different, you know, or maybe you want me to put in more of the work and effort and you just want to come with, you know, or you want me to invest in love, but you don't want to invest in love, but you want to be in the relationship, you know. You have to get, the bottom row can represent your ego. You have to get out of your ego and your self-protective, defensive nature. And some people can try to present themselves as more high vibe to get people to get in a relationship with them, but then they're self-protective of themselves in the sense that the Seven of Pentacles can be like, this is a good investment. I am willing to get in this relationship, but I am not willing to be inspired by love to be in it. And that's when some people who are more motivated and inspired by love get in relationships with other people who create the illusion they're motivated and inspired by love. And then they find out the other person really isn't motivated and inspired by love. They want to be in a relationship is what the Three of Cups can be about. But it's kind of using their emotions manipulatively, using their sexuality manipulatively, using their words, their money, their status, their image, their whatever they got kind of manipulatively. I want to be in relationships where I look like I'm a high vibe person and that I'm this just and fair and stable and grounded and authentic and loving person. But I still haven't learned to accept that couple love, so they're really operating in the Six of Wands from their ego. It's more their egoic, self-protective, defensive nature that runs their life. And down here we have the King of Swords, which is, I can have viewed that as being a person's self-protective, defensive nature. I want to live more from my mind than my heart. I have to be practical and logical. If I do love, that means I have to come out from behind my ego and be open to love, and I run a risk of getting hurt. And I'm not going to do that. But they want to be in relationships with people who are loving. Well, that's not just and fair, right? I want to be in relationships with people who do that and are like that, but I don't want to be that type of person. Well, eventually the people who get in a relationship with those more mismatched relationships kind of see the truth of it. You know, I could love this person because I am willing to really love people. But I want it to move forward in high vibe Leo where it is motivated and inspired by love. You know, it's like you could look at the Six of Wands to move forward in something victorious and successfully. If it was with another person, you both have to harness the Three of Wands. The other person wants to be in a relationship with someone who the third wand for the other people is inspired by love. But they are inspired more in their third wand by their self-protective defensive nature or these reasons of the world. This would be good for my ego, my image, my status. I want to be in a relationship. You're nice, you're kind, you're loving. Let's get in a relationship. Well, they kind of have competing motivations and aspirations and inspirations. To truly have a high vibe Six of Wands, everybody has to be motivated and inspired and taking action from truth and love. And shadowy people just think, oh no, I'll just act like I am. You know, living more from their mind than their heart and their ego. I'll create an illusion that's the truth of who I am. And eventually the high vibe people in their life who are motivated by love see the truth of it. And it can be really hard for them to get out of it. You know, down here, people had a new beginning. They could have known some people have fear of love in their Gemini nature. The Nine of Swords could be really stressed about wanting to maybe be in a relationship. So they want to be in a relationship. They just don't want people that they're in a relationship with to see that they kind of live more from their mind than their heart. And they're hoping the people they get in a relationship with will like just stay here and do this. But people don't stay the same, you know? People grow and heal and mature themselves over time. Shadowy people could want a more codependent relationship. You know, I have an idea. The people who kind of loved and believed in themselves want to be in relationships that are more motivated and inspired by truth and love. Those people move on. I'm going to go try to find someone who I think might be more fearful, more codependent, lives more from their mind than their heart. And I'm going to go invest in them. And hopefully we'll stay right there. Because that's what I think is just and fair. I want to keep moving forward like this. And it can be, again, kind of in their ego nature, wanting other people to be codependent on them and love them, which is, everybody can want people to love them, but they want people more codependent on them and love them, where those people kind of don't love themselves, where they require it to be more just and fair. The King of Swords I view as Libra, represented by the scales of justice. I want you to be more codependent on me, maybe more fearful, maybe not as stable or grounded in yourself, maybe not have as much stability or security within yourself, haven't learned to love yourself, less confident within yourself, whatever. They could be happy being in a relationship with someone who in some way seems to have less than them. That way they seem like the more stable, grounded, emotionally mature person. And all of us, we can go out in the world looking to get in friendship or relationship with people. And high vibe people, the Page of Cup or the Page of Pentacles, can be they have that more hopeful, believing spirit. And they too can be loving and encouraging to people. The difference is they really do want people to work through their issues and move forward in life. But when they meet people like this, they could feel like, oh my gosh, this is someone like me. I have met someone who's kind of on the same page as me, because they seem very just and fair and stable and grounded and emotionally mature. That's what I was looking for. It's just that, well, so then you get in a relationship and it can go really great for a long time, but they could feel like, they do, and they could have maybe more stability, security, more status, more image, more social clout, more money, more maybe kind of maybe more mature than you, might be a little older than you or something. There's something about it where, you know, you viewed them, well, you did, if nothing else, you bought into the false mask that they wore and the illusion they presented. But they can be very kind of loving and nurturing people to a degree in a relationship. It's just that they're not willing to do a more just and fair and balanced relationship. They always want it to stay more out of balance, always wanting you to be more codependent. I guess you could kind of look at it like a workplace too. A workplace is kind of the one holding the purse strings and in charge, and then we're just employees, right? And good employers invest in good employees, and they realize those are people who are valuable to my victory and success and continuing to move this forward. I shouldn't try to kind of think it should be more about me and not offer to invest in them more. But some employers can do that to employees. Some people we get in friendship and relationship with can do that to people they're in relationship with. Like, yes, I want you to keep moving forward with me, but I don't really want to invest much in you. And I'm hoping, though, because you're codependent, or at least they think you're codependent, that you'll keep moving forward with me in that way. And you didn't realize that with some people you got in a relationship with. You just thought, oh, they seem like a just, fair, stable, grounded, mature person. Maybe some of the other people I'd been in a relationship with, they weren't, or we had different dreams or motivations. So I'm looking to find someone new. This person is looking for someone new. Just like, again, an employee can be looking for a new job, an employer can be looking for a new employee. We go out looking for new friends and new relationships. Well, we can all go invest in something, but sometimes with some of the people in that environment that we go invest in, whether it's other people at a workplace, if we move to a different neighborhood, people in the neighborhood, uh, meet some people and kind of getting to know people in a friendship group, some of those people are going to be people who are definitely a little more shadowy. That it is just to, well, how would it benefit me to be in a friendship or relationship? Like, well, what do you have to offer? How could I use that to benefit me? Would that be good for my ego and my image and my status? Would it, you know, and that's a more shadowy type of person. I'm only going to invest in people who I think that if you already have some type of that shadowy energy, both the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles I view as Taurus energy, and it's more this hierarchical type of way of viewing life. It's like, and that's more shadowy. Well, what do you have? What do you wear? What do you drive? Who do you know? And like, if you don't have those things yet, no, those people in that situation are just going to probably move on from you. And you're like, I don't know why these people are acting like that, but some people are like that, you know? They don't really care about just and fair. You could be the most loving, just, fair, fun, encouraging person to be around, and they're like, good for you. I have a certain group of people I hang around, and yeah, you're not coming around. I might even like you, but the most important thing is, moving up in life and having a certain status and image. And if you don't play that game, I don't want to be in a relationship with you or be your friend. And if I don't think you have those things that are important to me, I don't have any interest of even investing in you. So we've all met people like that. But some people you'll get in a relationship, you think, oh my gosh, this person is a loving, nurturing, supportive person. And you get in the relationship, and everybody during the course of a relationship could maybe kind of heal and grow and mature themselves some. And the only problem is there can come a point in time where part of growing up and maturing yourself is that you shed an old version of yourself to give birth to a new version of yourself. Like when you shed being a 15-year-old to be an 18-year-old, and shed being an 18-year-old to be a 21-year-old. You quit investing in a more, over time, you kind of see how, you've kind of outgrown those things and you're ready to invest in yourself to go to that next phase of life, feeling confident within yourself. The Six of Wands moves away from the Five of Wands. I have done this. That was a phase of life. I'm going to offer truth and love to the people in my life to come with me. But there's some things I've seen and I've learned along the way. I've kind of seen what are not such good building blocks to take with me. And I want to move forward and keep investing in growing and healing and maturing myself. So I want to take the good building blocks with me, some habits, some patterns, some vices, some ways of interacting that aren't conducive to moving forward in that way. Who wants to come with? And that's when some of those people in your life are like, not me. That's not my truth. I'm happy doing this. And so sometimes we just have people in our life that, if it could require people to have, they have the free will to live their life the way they want. Some people we could realize they want a more codependent relationship. You can even have that with a friend. Could you have been loving and encouraging to each other? Yeah. You're both being loving and encouraging to each other. The only thing is, they never really wanted you to, they like that kind of relationship dynamic. And when you kind of love and believe in yourself, it's like, oh, well, you're done in the oven. It's time for you to go. And it's time for me to go find someone else to repeat this process with. And maybe that's the role that some people play in the world, in some people's lives. It does serve a purpose. I mean, they can be loving and encouraging people. It's just that, when the other people kind of love and believe in themselves, they thought they also were being loving and encouraging to them to grow and mature themselves and move to the next phase of life. But some of them are like, oh no, I don't do that. No, this is my role I play in the world. And it can be really conflicting because we did want those people to keep moving forward with us. But it's kind of like, no, that's not my truth. I just keep doing this. And then people move on. And I can be sad. They can be sad. But I don't ever step out of my comfort zone. I have maybe inner conflict about that and sometimes it's just people in their life circumstances. You could see it as being like a teacher. A teacher has students come in their classroom and it's like, I know it's time for you to go to the next class. Oh, no, I'm going to stay here. This is the class that I teach. And it's like, oh, but I love you and you should come with me. And they're like, no, this is my job. I am also getting cards out of the Cost of Becoming card, and you got separation revealed dependence you didn't want to see. And, when we do invest in people, and sometimes we're the one, kind of trying to help someone who might be, that we do know is a little more immature, could be a younger person or more codependent. And, they could be someone you love who wants to be in relationship with you. And so you can be loving and encouraging to them. But it's like, I don't want to stay here forever. You have to learn to invest in yourself and get more balance within yourself in order to move forward where I'd want to keep investing more time, energy, and effort. It's like, it can seem harsh, but if you did teach someone how to fish, you offered them truth and love, you shared with them all the things you've learned, and probably the work and effort that you had to put in to overcome your own fears, insecurities, codependencies, inner conflict, to love and believe in yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. The Knight of Pentacles can talk about it's slow, steady, it's a long-term process. And it can be 2 steps back and 1 step forward, 1 step forward, 1 step forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But it's always I'm always trying to make sure that I don't repeat some poor past patterns because I've already been there and done that. I know if I do that, it's just going to be repeating that old pattern again. I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. So I keep being inspired to invest in having more hope and faith and belief in myself and in love, aligning with my more balanced, hopeful, believing, loving nature. That gets me out of sinking into repeating old patterns. Can there be people in my life that I love and care for? Yes. Have I tried to probably work together with them in a just and fair and loving way? Yes. If they wanted me to share some of my experience with them, did I? If they wanted to know some of that, yeah. But if they're not willing to work together with me in a more just and fair way, and they keep wanting me to come back and do this and stay here, I'm not willing to keep doing that. Again, it's like teaching someone to fish. If I taught you how to fish, now you can go fish. The analogy, if you give a person a fish, they eat for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they can feed themselves, right? And you've offered people truth and love. And some of those people are like, but no, I don't want to do that. No, let's not change. Let's stay here. Let's do it this way. And it's like, it's like having someone who wants you to be in shadowy energy and hope that because you have love for them, that you'll keep indulging them in more immature, shadowy ways of being, whether they're a friend, a family member, a coworker, or a romantic interest. It's like, I have tried to work with you in a just and fair and balanced and loving way. I am ready to move forward with people who work together with me in a more just and fair and balanced way, who have emotionally invested in getting more balanced within themselves, loving themselves, being inspired within themselves, have worked through some of those issues within themselves to be inspired to invest in moving forward differently, seeing the truth. High vibe, the pentacles are about the truth. See what needs to change, basically. And, again, the Six of Wands moves away from the Five of Wands, things that need to change. And some people are like, but I don't want to change. Well, then I wish you peace, But my idea of the dream life isn't to keep having someone be codependent on me, or manipulative, or bossy, or controlling, or unjust, or unfair, or not treating me the way I treat them. I am motivated and inspiring and growing and maturing myself, and I don't want to keep repeating the same pattern. And I see the truth that you do. And so then the difference could be just in your dualistic Gemini nature. The Nine of Swords is Gemini, and the difference between the 9 and the 1 and the 8 is the 8 of Swords, and that also is Gemini energy. In our dualistic free will of what kind of drives and motivates us and how we want to live our life, some people are motivated and inspired within themselves to get balance within themselves, to heal, to learn lessons in life, to learn to love themselves, to build a foundation based on love. And other people, no. That's not the foundation they build their life on. Their truth is they want to be in more codependent relationships. They aren't more independent, are maybe more about themselves or these things of the world, and making their life more about those things instead of love. It's more about the ego or the image or the money or the status or me, being about me. And it's like, I wish you peace, but apparently I think we view life differently. Your idea of the dream life and kind of what drives and motivates you at a core foundational level of truth and philosophy of life is different. You might like to live more from your mind than your heart. You might like to repeat old patterns. You might not like to ever step out of your comfort zone or keep shedding old versions of yourself to kind of like grow to your full potential. And that's fine. You just need to find someone else who wants to do that. And if they can find, and some of those, they're going to keep trying to find someone who they think kind of is on the same page as them, that might have fear of coming out from behind their ego, living their more authentic life, quit being manipulated by the world and their ego or their fear. And if they find someone who is more about emotionally manipulated by their ego nature, their worldly nature, they're living more from their mind than their heart, then they have found the right person for them to be in a relationship with. Some of the other people who were in those jobs, friendships, or relationships realized, yeah, this isn't for me. I can't live my life like that. So the high vibe people had to do this work within themselves to, because when we get out of one job, friendship, or relationship where we felt like people were kind of being manipulative or bossy or controlling or stubborn or immature, codependent, whatever, we don't want to get back in those same situations. And those kind of people exist in the world. So I need to do the work within me to see what needs to change, because there is a reason I got drawn and attracted to those people and stayed in the job or the relationship for as long as I did. And I don't want to do that again. So what is it within me that needs to change? And that's what people worked on. They were inspired to, I can try to change other people, like have them love and believe in themselves, work through their fear, their insecurity, their codependency, or whatever, but they have the free will in their own Gemini nature. They have to do that themselves. We all hold the key to freeing ourselves. And some people are very codependent. No, no, no. That's not my truth. I don't think I should have to do that work. I'm looking for somebody to get in a relationship with me, and they're supposed to be the one to free me. Well, um, if people got pain and heartbreak and fear and insecurity, all other people can do is provide a loving and encouraging environment. They have to choose to invest in working through those issues and get out of their ego and their past pain and heartbreak about those things. And some of those people who think, oh no, I just need to find the right person, then all those issues will go away. They get in those relationships, their issues are still with them. And then it's like, oh my gosh, you must not be the right person. No, I got to leave you. I got to go find someone else. You didn't solve my problems. Well, again, that's looking to things outside of you to be the answer. And that's how some people view life. Oh, no, I'm not supposed to have to emotionally invest in working through those things. No, somewhere along the line, I decided, like some people might look to booze or drugs to be the answer to their problems, which is not. I look to other getting in relationship with people. I am sure when I meet the right person, all those things will go away. They get in relationships with people, all those issues are still there, and it's like, you must be the wrong person. I need to go find someone else. And then they go do it all over again. Anyway, what was it that people had to kind of see the truth of? The Page of Wands in reverse and the Temperance card. Well, the Page of Wands can be that, right here, we don't have any fire sign energy. We don't have it over here until we kind of take that cup of love. And so previously, we kind of lacked maybe kind of being more inspired within ourselves. And I think everybody can be more codependent initially when they go out there in the world. Uh, because we're used to growing up and having friends or family and stuff that really kind of played these roles in our life, and we just hadn't really learned to love ourselves. And kind of going through some of the situations we went through in life, in order to get out of them, we kind of had to learn to love ourselves. And I kind of view High Vibe Leo as kind of giving ourselves what we wish other people would have given us. And so it's kind of this process of becoming more stable and grounded within ourselves and investing in loving in ourselves and appreciating what we kind of bring to the table and our own unique talent, skills, and interests, and starting to stand up for ourselves. And just because someone might want to be in a friendship or relationship with us, I'm willing to get to know people, but I'm not going to get in a more involved friendship or relationship with people maybe now until I get to know them more, get a little more clear about, do they use their emotions manipulatively, their words? Do they try to get people invested in a relationship with them, and then their shadowy nature comes out? It's like, I'm going to get to know people more. But you could have lacked some being more inspired within yourself and been more codependent. And the Temperance card, which is Sagittarius energy, which is about higher learning and education and getting more balance within yourself, you had to go on this journey. Everybody does. We all can be more codependent. We all want to be in these friendships, jobs, and relationships. Sometimes we haven't learned to love ourselves and maybe to stand up for ourselves and kind of stand up for our truth and listen to our intuition. And that's all part of this journey of learning these lessons in life. And we go through these difficult times and friendships and relationships. But if we're willing to temper our ego and be willing to be a student of life and willing to learn lessons and accept the truth that there can be things I love doing, investing in, indulging in, and people. But if those things or those people aren't conducive to my life moving forward and moving my life forward in a more stable, grounded way and working together with me in that way, I need to see the truth of it, and I need to quit investing in some things I might like indulging in, or some people, if those things don't move my life forward and work together with me in a more, where it's emotionally, if it's things that want me to keep repeating an old pattern, I don't want to do that. I want to move forward. And I want to invest in the habits, the vices, the patterns, the lifestyle, the people that are looking to move forward in life. I've been there, I've done this. It caused me inner conflict because it maybe never changed, or people were being shadowy or whatever, and I'm ready to move forward in life differently. And so some people, again, in the fire sign of the Page of Wands, it can represent all three of the fire signs, which is Sagittarius and Leo and Aries, that there can be people that we were in friendship or relationship with that we thought maybe we're more in our fire sign energy, kind of more on the same page as us. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, maybe they're in other relationships, maybe they're not. But, we can only work with people who are willing to invest time, energy, and effort into us. It has to come into the 3D world. Otherwise, how's a dream going to come into reality? And if a person could have been being patient, is what the Temperance card can be. And the feminine figures can talk about people emotionally, how they think and feel. The masculine cards can represent action that our people are taking, male or female. But for a long time, emotionally, whether people are male or female, they could have been being patient, hoping other people, would work through some of their fears or their insecurities, or learn to love themselves and believe in themselves and get out of their ego, maybe get out of their defensive nature, quit being more codependent, quit indulging other people in poor behavior, whatever it is. And we can do that for a time, so it's like we can sit there not moving forward with something. And as part of the process of kind of healing emotionally, I want to feel like the opportunity was there. You can't expect people to change overnight. I would like to not move forward without them, but there also comes a time where, okay, out of love for myself and the fact that I have a dream I want to bring into reality, I have to accept the truth. If they were motivated and inspired to work together with me in this way, to bring this type of dream into reality, they would. And either they're in those kind of friendships and relationships with other people, and I need to accept the truth of that and move on, or maybe this really isn't their truth, and maybe they're not who I thought they were. Either way, I do have a dream I want to bring into reality, and I need to start investing in getting the justice I deserve. And if other people aren't working together with me in a just and fair way to bring that dream into reality, to get the justice I deserve, then I need to accept, kind of in the Four of Cups can be, that it's, a missed opportunity. But later we might kind of think, was it really a missed opportunity? Because I can't miss an opportunity in love if there's people in my life who don't want to do love. I can't manifest a dream into reality with other people who aren't motivated and inspired by love, and I want to be in relationships with people who are motivated and inspired by love. So, could I have loved those people? Yeah, I would say it was for some of the people who are more immature, shadowy. They're the ones who missed an opportunity in love because you were willing to offer truth and love and work together with them in a just and fair way. But some people don't want to be just and fair. Some people don't want to get out of their ego. Some people do want it more about them. Some people are immature. Some people want to be in like a parent-child relationship, and you're supposed to indulge them in their immature, prideful ways of being, like a mother would a parent, and they don't want to have to grow up. It's like, I'm going to let you do that with someone else. And I'm going to move on. So some high vibe people got out of those situations. Some other people could be deciding to get out of those situations, or just emotionally work through the fact that some people in their life, it's not going to work out. Because if the other people had wanted it to work out in a more just and fair way, they would speak the truth, they would invest in the truth, and it would work out. And sometimes some people, it's all trying to manipulate people. My truth isn't your truth. I want to do it this way. I know you could love me, and so I'm going to try to manipulate you. The high vibe people have been willing to work together with people cooperatively. They have spoken their truth. They have put in work and effort, invested in people to move things forward. The thing is, some of the people in their life, that isn't how they want to move forward, and that's why they didn't move forward that way. They want to do it the way it had been being done. They want you to stop doing that and come back and do it this way. Be more loving and nurturing and supportive of them, where you don't require them to be more just and fair, put in more work and effort, ignore your love, reject your love, don't offer you love. But because you don't love and believe in yourself and you have love for them, you keep indulging them. And some people are like, I'm not doing that anymore. You can go do that with someone else. I'm going to go invest in someone who has a different philosophy of life, more in alignment with my philosophy of life. And apparently, we have a mismatched philosophy of life. So the high vibe people are going to go have this new beginning, investing in things and people that they think are in alignment with their truth. And what's coming up for them is the Ace of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Ten of Pentacles. We're just going to take this one. And the Page of Swords. The tens can be completion of a cycle, and it could be in your own air sign energy. The Page of Swords can represent all three of the air signs. Down here we had Libra, we have Gemini, and the other one is Aquarius, which Aquarius, similar to Aries, is about our dreams. And there could have been people in your life that you had been in friendship or relationship with, but again, you harnessed your air sign energy different. In your dualistic nature of Gemini, what you think is just and fair and what is the truth of the foundation that you operate from is different. Theirs could be a little bit more about indulging themselves, being about themselves, wanting to be indulged, codependency, the world, ego, image, money. And that's not your truth. And you stood up for yourself and you put in the work and effort to get clear about your truth. And then the difference between the 10 and the 1 is the 9, which is about becoming independent of a foundation. And it could be people in the Ten of Pentacles. It could be becoming, just like a child has to become independent of their original family to kind of live their own authentic life. Can they know those, still keep in touch with those people, like those people? But it's like spreading your own wings and flying, You have your life, you have the way you like to do it. I have my life, I like the things I like to do, and it's just becoming more independent. And some people that you could have been in friendship or relationship with, whether it was romantic or not, don't like people being more independent. And they could have tried to stop you from being more independent or investing in your dreams or investing in your truth. No, you shouldn't do that. You should do this. This is what we do. And it's like, you do that. That's not my truth. Can I love you? Yes. And if it's family members, if it was someone you were married to, someone you thought you wanted to marry, you could have had to get out of that relationship or that marriage. Because your truth is different of what drives and motivates you and how you want to move forward. And what motivates and inspires you. And you have to become independent. And just like you could become independent of some people that you could have been in long-term friendships with or people in your family where, again, you could indulge poor behavior in them because they're your family member, but after a while it can be like, you know, I'll see you at the holiday, but do I really want to spend more time around you if you act and behave in certain ways and treat people certain ways? No. So it's kind of seeing the truth of who you want to become more independent of, who does seem to invest. If you've offered truth and love, again, to work together with people in a more authentic way in the Page of Swords, not from ego, and you have some people in your life that either go back and forth, some days they do work with you like that, some days they don't. It's like, I don't want to work with people who go back and forth. That it is either the truth of who you are and how you interact with people, or it's not. And I'd rather go invest my time, energy, and effort into things and people that is the truth of who they are. And I think you're just going to go invest your time, energy, and effort into things that are more aligned with your truth, because that's how you bring your dream into reality. If we keep investing our time, energy, and effort into things that aren't aligned with our truth, that's where we're investing our time, energy, and effort. When we quit investing our time, energy, and effort into it, then we can go invest in those things or habits or vices, or, well, not really vices, unless they're a good vice, but things that are more aligned with our truth, and trusting and believing that, um, living our truth will kind of align us with people that are also on that same page, and let the other people kind of move forward on the timeline or way of living life or viewing life the way they do it. And I think you're going to feel very solid and stable within yourself, very grounded, because you are willing to deal with the truth. No longer is naive, no longer is gullible. Um, accept the truth that not everybody's motivated and inspired by love. Um, and you're taking all those lessons that you've learned with you as you move forward. Willing to get to know other people, open, um, but just taking your time now. Anybody can come towards you, and you could come towards people. Other people that have went through things like what you've went through are also going to take time to get to know you, because they have also been in relationships with people who are like that. But I think you'll find people and get in these new experiences that are more aligned with your truth. What's coming up for some of the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Cancer energy that they might not see coming? Okay. Well, we did have a card flip. The Ace of Cups. Why? Because death to the Page of Wands. It's just kind of funny up here because we had to let go of the Page of Wands. So, and the Page of Wands could kind of be that, I think in our fire sign nature of ourselves, we're all really kind of inspired by these things of the world that we want to invest in initially. We want to be in friendship and relationship. We want to manifest these certain things in the world. We might want to get married, might want to have kids, all those things. And sometimes we do that at the expense of living our more authentic truth, and we could compromise our truth too much because of our want for these things of the world. And it seems practical and logical. And that's what we could have kind of realized, because we wanted some of these things of the world. It kind of could have tipped our life out of balance, and we could have gotten in these more mismatched relationships. And that's what some of the high vibe people who went through that, learned. I better offer love to myself, or it's kind of like, if I don't listen to my more creative, inspired nature within myself, my life, that aspect of me, like it's dead. And my whole life will be about this. Me, my fear, my insecurity, other people, the world, my ego, blah, blah. And the high vibe people decided to offer love to it. Quit indulging their more immature fire sign nature, being more indulging more in the world and indulging other people, and to love themselves, to change, and to harness that energy in a more high vibe way. Like, wait a minute, I do want to have hope and faith and belief in myself and in my dreams. And we realize we have to quit indulging our more immature nature, codependent nature, and love ourselves. And some people are doing that right now. They're in these situations and they're like, I could either keep doing this, which over time I've probably come to see doesn't seem to maybe be just or fair. It might look just or fair. It might look like whatever. But if I don't feel like it's really motivated and inspired by love and never going to give birth to anything new, it's going to stay dead because the other people maybe don't want to give birth to anything new, then I need to quit being more codependent and quit indulging that, and I need to move forward. That kind of does remind me of this card here. It's like the masculine figures can represent any of us in our more worldly nature. It's kind of considered our masculine egoic nature. And then we have our more emotionally intuitive nature. When we're kind of operating more from our worldly egoic nature, people who are more aligned with their more intuitive loving nature, whether they're male or female, it's kind of like stop right there, kind of like right here. Stop right there. um, I can know people in the world and I can interact with people in the world, but if I know that I'm someone who's more motivated and inspired by love, I don't want to get in a relationship with someone who's more motivated and inspired by themselves and these things of the world. I've already been there and done that. And it doesn't matter if I think you're cute or charming or attractive. Yeah, I'm going to move on. I'm willing to get to know you, but I'm standing up. I have learned a lot of hard lessons. All those hard lessons and this truth I've learned is what is standing up for my hopeful, believing, loving nature. I am willing to get to know people, invest in people. It's just people kind of stay in the friend zone until, I get to know them well enough that I feel like I think they're telling me the truth and that they are who they say they are. And then all those people could move forward, and the pages can be that you gave birth to something new, just like you can give birth to a child. When you get in a friendship or relationship, it kind of creates a new energy that didn't exist before. And as you invest in your truth and meet other people who are more on the same page as you, I think you'll have these new, very solid, stable, insightful, self-aware, truthful, authentic, loving relationships because those people are more on the same page as you. And some of the shadowy people in the world who could have turned their back on loving people, thinking, oh, they won't love and believe in themselves. Oh, they'll come back. No, the high vibe people aren't coming back. They're not willing to indulge them anymore. And they're not maybe as codependent as they were at one time. They wish them peace and love, but they're moving on. And then the shadowy people could be bum. But the truth is, they're not willing to put an end to their more immature nature or codependent nature. That's their truth and their self-protective nature. They're just going to go find someone to repeat it with. And there'll be other people who come into their life, and then it's up to those people to decide, is this their truth or is it not? And if it's not their truth, those people will move on. If they meet some people who are more on the same page as them, who are willing, like, this seems just and fair, this seems to have the status and the image that I wanted, and I maybe really don't want to do love either, or I also use my emotions manipulatively and live more from my mind than my heart, then that would be a just and fair relationship for them to be in. It's just the people who have been in relationships with people who were more just and fair and loving. Um, I do think those are the kind of relationships they'd like to be in. But unless they're willing to change, they're going to keep being the high vibe people are going to leave, and the people who are happy, they live their life like that, are going to stay in relationship with them because they also live their life like that. The people who are more going to hang around them are going to be the people who are more like themselves. And until, they get tired of being in a more codependent relationship, trying to outwit, outsmart, deceive, manipulate, control, and live their life differently, they're probably going to keep living their life that way. And some people will never, in their fire sign energy, be inspired to become independent of their more worldly view of life. And if they don't, they're going to have to get in relationships with other people who that is their truth also. They had the opportunity when they were in relationships with people who are more motivated and inspired by love to kind of get more balance within themselves. But the truth is, they could just be defensive to love, and they prefer to operate more from their self-protective, defensive, egoic nature, or really, that really is what drives and motivates them, and that really is the truth of who they are. And other people, the more high vibe people in their life, eventually see the truth of it and they kind of move on. And some people could feel like, you're not who I thought you were. Because again, people could have known people since they were young. Probably everybody, oh, I'm not more about myself. I'm not more prideful. I'm not more egotistical. I wouldn't get in a relationship more for money or status or ego or image, men and women. And then as time goes by, as they keep seeing people get out of relationships with people it seems like they could have their dream come into reality with, and they don't move forward with those people, and they keep kind of choosing other things. Eventually people are like, yeah, I don't think you're inspired by truth and love. I think you kind of are more about wanting to control people, or be more about you, or be more immature and have people indulge you, or are more materialistic. And then as people kind of see that truth, they could kind of keep their distance from those people. So there you go, Cancer. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.